Hey there, Careblazers. Welcome back to the place where we talk about everything dementia. Dr. Natali here, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about a serious issue that makes me so disgusted. There are people out there preying on senior citizens, especially those with cognitive impairment, and one of their most favorite ways to do so is to gain access to their bank accounts and sensitive information. And I have personally worked with several people who have lost their entire life savings because their sensitive information and bank account numbers got into the hands of the wrong individuals. I don't want to see this happen to you or any of your loved ones. So if you're interested in learning some tips to help minimize your chance that you can be taken advantage of by these scammers out there, then stay tuned. Scammers like to target the senior citizen population for several reasons, including many senior citizens have a pretty good nest egg or savings from having worked most of their life. Many of them have good credit scores, and a lot of them are very trustworthy of others. This makes them prime for the picking when it comes to scammers. And many senior citizens are often embarrassed when it turns out they've been taken advantage of by a scam, so they don't let others know about it. Or in a case that I worked with this week, the senior citizen had dementia to the point where they didn't even realize they were being taken advantage of, so he couldn't report it to anybody. Here are some things to consider to help keep your loved one's savings safe. Eventually, everybody with dementia will come to a point when they're no longer able to manage their finances alone. That point in time is different for everybody, but it's important that when that time comes, you're aware of it and able to step in and provide help as needed. There are several things to look out for that would suggest your loved one is beginning to have problems managing their finances, and that includes things like missed payments or late payments, overdraft fees, unexplained withdrawals from the account without receipts or good explanations, and an increase in donations or subscriptions that seem unusual for your loved one. Now, there are some things you can do to help support and even manage their accounts in these situations. If possible, make sure that there is a trusted individual's name listed on all of your loved one's accounts. That way, when your loved one begins to need help, that individual will be able to step in without a lot of red tape and legal difficulty that would arise if their name was not on the account. You could also consider having your loved one complete financial power of attorney paperwork if they're able to make that sort of decision and sign that paperwork at this point in their disease. You could consider monitoring their credit and monitoring their accounts online if you're able to have access to that. That way you're able to monitor any unusual or suspicious activity. Or if you'd like to be a bit more removed, you can sign your loved one up for an online reputable service that monitors your loved one's credit and activity so that they can alert you and your loved one if anything's unusual or outside of a normal pattern. You could assist your loved one in signing up for automatic bill pay for the monthly recurring payments that happen. That way they don't have to worry about paying for it every month. And if their income checks are not already automatically deposited in their accounts, go ahead and get that set up, as this will help minimize the chances that their check can be intercepted in the mail by others. You could also consider taking away the credit cards, debit cards, and checks that are lying around the house if you're worried about your loved one making mistaken payments or giving money to others who may be asking. If you choose this route, you want to make sure that you leave your loved one with some sort of independence and financial access. So choosing a credit card with a low limit, or giving them a prepaid credit card, or giving them a set amount of cash every week. That way they are still able to make purchases and feel like they're able to make decisions, but it won't have as much of a financial impact compared to if they were to max out all of the credit cards that they have available. Many scammers are able to get to your loved one through the mail, through snail mail or email. Even legitimate offers can lead to financial nightmares. So things like credit card offers, sweepstake entries, solicitations for donations, all of these things that come through our mail on a daily basis are things that could put your loved one's financial security in jeopardy. If you're able to get to your loved one's mailbox before they do on a regular basis, then you want to check the mail first and weed out the junk mail. You can either bring the mail into the home for your loved one, or if they like to check the mail, leave the legitimate mail in the box for them to receive with all the junk mail already thrown away. Consider having the mail routed to a P.O. box so that the mail doesn't go to their home and someone can collect it weekly. Having a P.O. box will weed out some of the junk mail, but not all of it, so be sure that someone still goes through it all. Consider opting your loved one's address out of the junk mail list by calling toll-free 1-888-5-OPT-OUT or going to the website optoutprescreen.com. Consider signing up your loved one for email subscribing services so that they're not constantly getting solicitations through email. You can also place a sign either near the computer reminding them not to open any emails from people they don't know or not to respond with any private information. If you feel comfortable, you can set up computer time with your loved one for when you're in the home or another trusted person is in the home so that they can monitor that activity that they're doing online. And if your loved one really gets into trouble with online actions, you could consider turning off the Wi-Fi or internet service in your home during periods when you're going to be away or when nobody's going to be there. Finally, you want to make sure that any passwords that your loved one has to access accounts are difficult for hackers to guess. So using things like numbers, letters, symbols, lowercase, uppercase is going to make it more difficult for scammers to be able to access accounts. The phone is another place where scammers like to get information, and I have personally witnessed scammers call patients while I'm at their house, and they can be pretty insistent. So if the phone is a concern of yours, you could consider placing signs by the phone not to give out personal information like social security numbers, date of births, bank account numbers, and etc. You could also consider turning the volume down on the phone when you are away from the home or when there is nobody trusted at the home. That could help prevent your loved one from answering the telephone. But that's not a good idea if you have to call to check on your loved one. So some of the people I know have video cameras that they're able to kind of check in from their phone and make sure their loved one's safe. If you have something like that set up, then turning off the volume on your phone could be a good option to prevent your loved one from answering the phone to a telemarketer. If scammers do get some information from your loved one, or they call and realize that there's a person living in that home with cognitive impairment, you may need to change your telephone number because they're not going to stop calling. Also, put your loved one's phone number on the do not call list by going to the website donotcall.gov or calling the toll-free number 888-382-1222. Another general thing to watch out for, not that it's true in every case, but it is true in some cases, including the case I worked on this week. If there is a new person in your loved one's life who is hanging around a lot and coming around often, you want to be monitoring what that person's doing, as sometimes they like to get close to people with dementia and then take their sensitive information. If your loved one has been a victim of a scam of some sort, you want to contact the Adult Protective Services in your local area to report it. If you're not sure who or where, how to contact your local Adult Protective Services, go to www.eldercare.gov to find the one closest to you. If your loved one is more in the mild stages of dementia and is able to still manage their finances at this point, this may be the perfect opportunity for you to sit down and have a caring conversation with your loved one. Talk to them about how there are scammers out there trying to take advantage of senior citizens, and go over some of the safety tips of information never to give out over the phone or over the internet or through the mail. It's also a good opportunity to talk about what kind of help and who they would want that help from when the time comes that they may need some extra help managing their finances. Careblazers, I hope this video has been helpful to you. I hope that nobody in your family has to live the nightmare of being a victim of scammers and losing your life savings. I know that some of the things that I talk about could feel like an invasion of privacy for your loved one, but you have to ask yourself what's worse, invading a little bit of privacy or waking up to completely empty bank accounts. sometimes as caregivers we have to do things that don't necessarily feel great to help protect our loved ones. So I hope this video gets you thinking a little bit about how to make your own accounts safe. If you do things currently to help protect your loved one and your bank accounts from being taken advantage of, leave those in a comment below and help your other Careblazers out. Also, as always, if you have any questions or topics that you want to see addressed in a future video, go ahead and leave a comment below any of my videos or over on my Facebook page at Dementia Careblazers. Okay, Careblazers, until next week, bye.